Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to this video. It is Wednesday the 12th of February, 9:07 p.m. UK time. So I just wanted to bring you another quick update about the dividing of the land of Israel, which is what they're in the process of doing, and more articles and information which goes to prove this. It says here on the Jews News Syndicate, JNS, Netanyahu, U.S. recognition of Israeli sovereignty over lands is certain. American support for Israeli sovereignty in parts of Judea and Samaria over the Jordan Valley is pertinent to our ability to settle the heart of our land without restrictions, says Israeli Prime Minister. It says, during the tour of the Jordan Valley on Monday, Israeli Prime Minister reiterated his pledge to apply Israeli law there and in other areas designated as Israeli territory under the newly unveiled Mideast peace plan. So what they are doing, it says, under the newly unveiled Mideast peace plan, they are doing this specifically in regards to the Middle East peace plan, which allows them to go ahead and do this. And this is what they are using it as the means by which to divide the land of Israel. So it says US President Trump said that he will recognize Israel's application of sovereignty over the relevant areas, and he will do so once we finalize the processes that have already begun. So that will be the 6-member delegation, 3 from America and 3 from Israel, are currently going through and forming this the map which will outline the borders of a future state of Palestine. So that's what Netanyahu said, referring to the joint Israeli-American effort to delineate the relevant territorial boundaries and deal with other technical matters required for the implementation of the Peace to Prosperity proposal. So this plan is going to be implemented. There is no other plan coming. This is the one that is going to be implemented. This is the one that is going to cause the annexation. This is the one that is outlining the borders of a Palestinian state, and this is the one that is dividing the land of Israel. So it says, during his tour of the area, Netanyahu planted a sapling, as is customary on the Jewish holiday of Tu B'Shavat, touted the Trump's plan's favorable terms, and asked Israelis to give him a renewed mandate on the election. Okay, so he says, we're going to make history after having the United States recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Then we got a statement from Trump in which he said he will definitely recognize the application of Israeli law in certain areas of Judea and Samaria, said the Prime Minister. He added, American support for Israeli sovereignty of the Jordan Valley is also pertinent to our ability to settle the heart of our land without restrictions. We've fought over this land since the days of Joshua and the Israelites, and we're here to stay. So Netanyahu stressed that this recognition would not be affected by Palestinian intransigence. This is not dependent on them. This is what Netanyahu says. This is not dependent on the Palestinians. This will happen once we complete mapping out the relevant areas. And then in this article, it says, Netanyahu, Israel is mapping lands for annexation. We are already at the height of the process of mapping the area that, according to the Trump plan, will become part of the state of Israel. It won't take too long, says Israeli Prime Minister. So, yes, they are mapping out the borders of Israel, but part of those borders, inside the land of Israel, is being mapped out a future Palestinian state. That is the dividing of the land of Israel. It is recognizing a future Palestinian presence on God's land. That is dividing the land of Israel. Do not be fooled. This is what is coming. This is the Daniel 9:27 covenant. It says, Israel has begun to map the Judea and Samaria lands that Israel will annex, said the Israeli Prime Minister at an election campaign rally on Saturday. We are already at the height of the process mapping the area that, according to the Trump plan, will become part of the state of Israel. It won't take too long. With Israeli election campaigns underway, the Likud, the blue and white parties, have repeatedly made statements in favor of annexing parts of Judea and Samaria, including the Jordan Valley, eliciting many reactions for and against. Netanyahu's statements occur less than 2 weeks after US President Trump unveiled his Middle East peace plan, which gave American approval for annexation, paving the way for the next Israeli government to actualize its campaign promises. Okay, so while they are creating this map for Israeli annexation, at the same time they are creating a map for a Palestinian state. So they are looking at the benefits of this, and they are not looking at the detriments, which is the fact that they are going to recognize, they are making space for recognizing a Palestinian state. They are saying that this land here is not ours. This is for the Palestinians. This land is ours, but this land here, we're leaving that for a future Palestinian state. And that, my friends, it doesn't matter how you want to sugarcoat it, is dividing the land of Israel. That is the recognition of a Palestinian state on that land for a people that is not the people of Israel. God has given a commandment. His commandments are very clear. It is a covenant made with Abraham. It cannot be diverted away from. It is very, very clear. It's not something that can be manipulated, although they are going to great lengths to try and say that this is not dividing the land of Israel. It's a nonsense, and that is exactly what this is. So it doesn't matter how people want to try and spin this. It doesn't matter how they want to try and say that this is not dividing the land of Israel. This is most surely dividing the land of Israel. Okay, and then it says Trump will make sure Israel gets a government. This is Aracheva. He says that the MK explains that what Lieberman says when he supports the formation of a liberal Zionist government. Okay, and this is saying that Trump will make sure that there is a government, but we shall see about that. And that is coming on March the 2nd. Then the coronavirus, dozens more coronavirus cases confirmed on this cruise ship. Another 40 people, 39 people have been confirmed with this extremely contagious coronavirus. It's now up to 174 on this cruise ship. The coronavirus has also made its way to London. They've closed down doctors' practices. They've closed down schools. And this coronavirus is spreading. So this is the pestilence. This is going to spread, and they are not going to stop it, just like we looked at 2 weeks ago, and we saw that was not going to stop, and that has continued. Remember, this coronavirus comes after the signs of God in the heavens. It comes after the blood moons and the lunar eclipses. It comes after the Great American Solar Eclipse, after the Revelation chapter 12 sign. This is the big one. This is the footsteps, not the pale horse, because of course that comes after the rapture of the church, but these are the footsteps of the pale horse, the pestilence. There's no future in this world, and people better get ready, because the rapture of the church is just about to happen. They are just about to divide the land of Israel. Here we can see U.S. celebrates withdrawal of UN Security Council resolution against the peace plan. Abbas came there and had a whinge and a moan, but he didn't put forward the resolution because they understood that it would not pass, so they withdrew the resolution. So that is a major development there as well. And did the Palestinians just suffer a major setback at the United Nations? And the answer to that is yes. And it says the postponement of the Palestinian resolution is nothing to celebrate right now, and that the real victory or success will be when we have real negotiations and a peace treaty signed, says the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon. So we know that they are going to have this meeting that Mike Pompeo is trying to organize very, very soon, and we'll see if the Palestinians get on board to that and suddenly do an about turn. As I mentioned, these things can happen very, very quickly, and they can certainly just change their mind at the last moment. But nevertheless, right now, Israel and the United States of America, the greatest nation on earth for the wild olive branch, or the wild branch of the olive tree, and the natural branch of the olive tree, are going at this alone. So regardless, as Netanyahu says himself, regardless of if the Palestinians are there or the Arabs are there, and regardless if the United Nations are there, guys, the The Daniel 70 weeks prophecy says 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and thy city. So it's Jerusalem and the Jews. So when Gabriel comes to Daniel and says to Daniel, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy city, that doesn't mean the United Nations. When he says he shall confirm the covenant with many, that doesn't necessarily mean the United Nations. In view of this Daniel 70 weeks prophecy is Jerusalem and Israel. So he shall confirm the covenant with many does not necessarily mean the United Nations. He shall confirm the covenant with many in the context of the 70 weeks prophecy means many in Jerusalem. So that would be the Israeli government and the Knesset, and them putting their signature on a map which slices and dices God's land of Israel. So the Jews breaking the everlasting land covenant made with Abraham, Israel doing that at the behest of the United States of America, seducing them, and as some of you pointed out, inducing the woman in travail. So I just wanted to give you a quick update, show you those new articles which indicate they are in the process of creating a map, an official map, which will recognize the borders of Israel, and within those borders, a foreign fabrication of the truth, a Palestinian state. That, my friends, is dividing the land of Israel, and we are going to be out of here soon. Woohoo!